Hello, my name is Kevin.
And I am Jen. We live in Ontario, Canada with our 4 children. Our son is a rare disease patient. He has a complex lymphatic anomaly.
Rare disease has had a significant impact on our family. During times of hospitalization, it caused a real upset to regular routine as well as separation of our family unit. The fact that our hospitalizations occurred over COVID and only one parent was allowed in the room at a time, as well as no siblings were allowed to come into the hospital, only made things worse. All family communication was forced to happen over video call or phone call. The siblings missed their brother terribly, and they were worried about what the future looked like, especially if he'd even come home. It took a huge emotional toll on his brothers and his sister. His brothers and sister also had to always be sent away to friends' houses or family for extended stays. The uncertainty of the rare disease diagnosis and the outcomes that were posed caused a lot of heightened anxiety for everybody.
When he returned home, there was a lot of time spent on rehab. When he first got back from the hospital, he wasn't able to walk. So we had a lot of physio appointments, and with that came pain as his muscles were being used again. And there was also pain from the disease. And this pain often kept him up at night, and he would scream and he would wake up his siblings. So there was a lot of upheaval in the house, and combining not sleeping well with a lot of appointments, it really upset the routine that our kids were used to.
Now, fortunately, as he's progressed through his treatment, we have obtained a bit more normalcy and routine in everyday life, and we have created a bit of a new normal for our family.
It's very hard to find a balance between family, work, illness, and appointments. When the disease flares, all of our resources will go to helping our son. And sometimes that flare can land him in the hospital, and then we become separated again as a family, which is very, very hard on everyone. Regular appointments for us are long. We'll spend a whole day away from home. We have to travel to our hospital. So that often means one parent's driving to the hospital. And if we can't find care for our other kids, the other parent is taking the day off and staying home. And I have still not returned to a full-time job as I've taken on the majority of the caregiving responsibilities.
For activities and travel, we try to make necessary modifications. For example, on one trip we bought a wagon so that we could pull our son around rather than him having to walk. He has in the past fatigued very easily and was unable to keep up with the rest of the family. As a result, we often only schedule one activity per day, as more than that tends to be very exhausting for him.
As far as relationships are concerned, we find there's a definite shift once a rare disease diagnosis enters the picture. As a caregiver, you feel that your mental state is stretched to the absolute maximum all the time. And any extra pressure on that can cause it to snap.
We've tried to seek support in this journey and stay away from as much stress as we can. Relationships become hard, and external factors such as work or school become even harder to manage. It takes a lot longer to recover from stress during this time, and there's a constant underlying feeling that is always present in your everyday life.
Friendships also become stressed, so you want to be a good friend, right? But after a day of being a nurse to your child, a manager of appointments, a confidant, a therapist, a mother to a rare disease patient, and a mother to your other children, there's not much more to give at the end of the day. And you might not pick up the phone like you used to, or go for the walk, or even answer emails. You're done. So it can be absolutely draining on most days. And you sometimes grieve those relationships you used to have with family and friends. But in saying that, there has also been a tremendous amount of growth that has been found and a strength that has been surprising. And there is also really, really something special in connecting with other rare disease families that we have found. And we've been very fortunate to find a few that are on similar journeys to us, and we support each other very well.
At first, our friends and family did not know how to react to the diagnosis of a rare disease. We found a lot of people began to distance themselves from us and our son. Birthday invitations stopped coming, playdate invitations stopped, and nothing was really scheduled outside of our own home. We decided to try to educate friends and family on the disease itself, as well as what they could do to help us. We had a lot of people step up and lend their support, but other people decided to just draw a hard line in the sand and not help much at all. We did presentations to our son's class and to his school so that his peers and understood why things were now different from him, and the teachers actually for that matter. They were all very supportive and responded well with a bit more understanding. He began to not only be included again, but is now supported and encouraged by his peers. We also have since started a foundation to help raise awareness for his rare disease, and we are gathering funding and doing fundraisers for research and patient care, and also to support families that are going through the same kind of journey as us.
As far as mental health support goes for our other children, we ensure that they each have their own unique activity that's specific to them, and that activity includes a social circle that is just for them. So it's something they can look forward to each week, and something away from the appointments and the medications and the busy life of living with a rare disease sibling. This has been absolutely instrumental in changing the morales, and it's given them something to look forward to each week. And on those weeks that we find ourselves just strapped for time and really busy and full of appointments, we make sure they get there somehow. And we rely on family, friends, and even teammates to carpool and get them to and from events.
We also try and plan outings as a family as much as we can to enjoy anything, whether it's a quick walk around the block, a movie, or going on a whole cross-country adventure. We were not offered mental health support other than things that we tried to find ourselves. The children were much easier to find the resources for, and providers were very accommodating for the kids doing home or virtual visits when necessary. As adults, there wasn't much available. We were offered a little bit through our hospital, but that was only if we drove 2 hours away and it had to be in person. Just with the schedule of caring for a rare disease child and having other kids, it wasn't feasible to make that journey and exist. The children do feel very supported now, and their mood definitely is lifted since we're all back together, and consequently that helps our mood as well. And as parents, we have come to recognize that we also need a mental break. We have very little flexibility in our current lives, and whether it's something as simple as going for a lunchtime walk or taking a midday coffee, something just to give us a bit of a reset is necessary. We need to sometimes take ourselves away from the heightened state that we find ourselves falling into periodically.
How we feel as caregivers directly impacts our kids. So if we're not supported, then they don't feel supported. They pick up on all of our, mood changes, our rush schedules. So we owe it to ourselves and to our kids to find solutions that support all of us.
Now, our son is supported quite well through his hospital psychology department, and the siblings all receive support from a child life specialist on an as-needed basis, usually about once a month.